that mean for me?
I think next time I get different cheese for that macaroni.
We got a pretty solid case. With that information, we
See what I got, Steve?
How's the meatballs? You trying?
Hi, everybody.
I think I'll be full then.
Hello.
Hey.
Howdy.
How's it going, everybody?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Hi, Jake.
Hey. There he is.
Yeah, I see your name in the paper. Did you win that match or lose it?
I lost. Excuse me.
There's meatballs, there's porchetta, there's mac and cheese, and there's Tuesday's Pizza with extra cheese.
Ignorant.
I got Tuesday's Pizza because I figured Jake would like pizza. I don't know if he eats meatballs.
I said, Jake, there's pizza.
Jeez, I think there's still some. Yeah, there's still pizza left.
We were a little bit late, but we were here.
Jake just had a tournament today, so
He just came off a bus. Oh,
What, you cold?
freezing! I got that ice cold soda in my hand. Well, happy birthday!
Thank you.
You can write me letters, though. Long letters, dissertations from very far away.
Oh yeah, that's ice cold.
Okay, time to get her the hell out of here.
Okay, Mom, let's go. One last time.
Jake got owned today
Wow.
by Ceilings Grove
Oh, boy.
They were good, huh?
by a fat kid. It's probably a lineman. He was probably a lineman.
You feeling good after that operation?
Chair right there.
Yeah, I saw that picture of the screw they put in. That was long. Doesn't hurt at all anymore? Wow.
A 3-inch long screw. I wouldn't want that
Stainless steel.
in my leg.
Well, look at Chipper had a surgery on his leg, and look how good he does.
You'll have to go in here and find a seat.
It's open. Hi.
There's still some cheese in there. On my lunch, I put the meatballs in the crock pot. Oh, I put sauce, and then I put the meatballs, and I poured sauce over it, and then I put like 9 slices of mozzarella cheese and just let it mellow over it.
In the bottom or over the top?
So then it would seep down all through it.
Huh. Get a plate. I'm waiting for you to go so I can go.
Grab me a fork, Jay. Right there by the plate.
In the box. Man, you got tall.
I know.
How did you get? Look at it. You're like double the size of this.
She's going to be a big sister
That's-
this week.
Crazy, isn't she so tall?
She's going to be a big sister this week.
Huh.
Ashley's
This week.
this week. If she doesn't go into labor beforehand, the 21st, they're going to induce her. Which is 5 days.
That's next week. Right? Wednesday,
Hold on, I gotta turn on that light.
18, 19.
Which would be nice if she goes into labor on the 20th. There's on his birthday. That'd be kind of.
Yeah, Wednesday. Right? Wow.
If she doesn't give birth, then she's gonna have to be induced on the 21st.
Wow. That's scary. Are you gonna be scared? Have a baby?
Not really.
I told her it's going to cry in the night and wake her up.
All hours of the night. Can you go so I can get a plate?
Well,
Alright. Excuse me.
are you excited?
Wow, that does look like a
You have acrylics?
Yeah.
Cool.
So you haven't been setting people up for prank calls, have you?
No, why?
I haven't seen you in forever.
No, I'm just doing a little investigation about a call I got at work. Yeah.
What did they do?
I don't know, did I tell you this or not?
I don't really remember.
Wednesday, because I was off Thursday, Friday. So Wednesday, I answer the phone down there,
I
and
don't know what to do really.
this guy was acting
I'm
very
just walking
serious.
around.
He says, yeah. He says, I was in the other day. He says, I bought birdseed. And he says, you don't know nothing about this.
No, but it sounds funny already. Birds.
Anyway, he says, I was in the other day. He says, I bought birdseed. He says, I went home and planted it, but no birds are growing. I was like, what?
Sound like
He
the
says,
whole-
yeah. He says, I put it in the ground. He says, I covered it up, but I'm not getting any birds. I said, I don't think it works that way. He says, so you tell me I just wasted my money. Macaroni and cheese.
Was he like an old guy?
He had to be maybe in his 20s, I bet.
There's the trucker.
So he says, you tell me I just wasted my money. I said, yeah, I'm afraid so. He says, oh man, he says, I was hoping to grow some birds, the beautiful birds like on the bag. I said, well, you gave it a good shot. And I just hung up. No, it was just a prank call. It's like Fiore would have did back in the day.
Is this the same thing that?
I think so.
To get her out.
You want some of this? Clean up here.
This is the extra charge.
I like it.
She likes it.
Nasty.
Tastes good.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I got one of these at work the other day. I didn't know anything about them, but
Yeah, I saw Jake's letter from the superintendent. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, we didn't expect that.
they now have extra charge iced coffees. I'm like, man,
Is,
Put that on a bun and make a sandwich.
ordered it. He went, picked it up. I started drinking it. I drank like half of it. I'm like, I've never been shocked with a Navy before, but I'm fairly certain this is what it feels like. Wakes you up real
she
quick.
wants to come home.
You have to make a sandwich out of it.
So she's mad. So she's mad, and so she's being spiteful, or
Can I sit here? Let me get my drink. Ooh, that was hot. Go ahead. Sit down inside. There.
Yeah, you ate half the bag in one sitting.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Good.
Excuse me.
You're fine.
their appetite for
She said she.
So my first thought was to suspect you were behind it all. Putting those teachers up there behind it or something.
Nobody would have the guts to do that up there. Those people are too.
I'll give him credit because throughout the whole phone call I was laughing and he kept serious, so he's pretty good.
So now she's gonna
Should have got mad. What kind of joke is this?
I was gonna say to him, well, first of all you gotta fertilize the soil and then water it every day. And then it takes about 4 weeks before the beets start to sprout.
For the baby.
Before the beets start to sprout out of the ground.
You have call ID?
Yeah, I had written a number down, but I tried to search it, couldn't find them.
Is it local?
I think so.
Myself and
hopefully all this is going to change because all of the evidence is coming out, and I think Trump's staying.
I don't believe what she's saying. Do you?
No, he's not serious.
You're
Much
watching
as I
fake
just like it.
news. You're watching fake news. You gotta watch the real news. Watch Newsmax.
I watch all that, but I don't. Nothing's gonna happen at this point.
Newsmax doesn't say what you're saying.
I listen to people that have really good sources that have said that some people are already in jail, so there won't be an inauguration.
We'll see. We'll see when Wednesday comes. Hey, I don't like it. You can attest to the fact I'm not a fan of this whole thing.
We had a discussion about it the other day.
A heated discussion.
Would you call that a heated
No,
discussion?
not heated,
That's
but
because you didn't grow up the way I grew up. We had lots of heated discussions between me and my dad when I was growing up.
About politics or about other stuff?
About everything in life.
Why, was he more conservative or was he more,
Well, he didn't like Pete Seeger,
who was that?
folk singer. We're talking about like in the 1960s in Vietnam. Did you ever hear the Smothers Brothers?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, he was going to be on the Smothers
That's
Brothers.
the
and
mom
I
always
wanted
like
to
you
watch
best
that,
guys.
And my dad flipped out because he said Pete Seeger's a communist, and I said, I don't care, I want to watch him.
So he was like a, probably more of a right-wing person, like,
Yeah, he was more like an Archie Bunker type.
that's how we were.
Our kind of guy.
He was an Archie. Oh, he would just, yeah, he would get along with everyone.
My extent of knowing your dad was Christmas Eve. He'd come and he'd always be the last one to get here, and I was just a little kid. And I wanted to tear into the presents, and my mom would be like, we gotta wait for Clarence. I was like, no, I wanted to. You know, kids don't want to wait. They see presents, they want to.
Yeah, he was more the Archie Bunker type. I told him before, he said about, he likes Archie Bunker, and I said, I never did, because I said, I know people like Archie Bunker. Didn't want to watch it on TV.
Now, how old was he when he died? He was in his 90s,
My
right?
dad was 95 when he died.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Because it wasn't too long before that, Bob was up there and giving him like some kind of, Bob Smith, the Purple Heart.
Yeah, he
thing.
gave him Purple
Yeah.
Heart stuff and all that.
Yeah, because that's her
Yeah, yeah.
stepfather.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was there at the Purple Heart dinners.
Well, I don't know if
He
he
was
was at
in
the
the
dinner.
nursing home.
He
He
was
was
in the
no,
nursing
because
home.
he was in the
But
nursing. He was in the
Bob
nursing
was at the
home.
nursing home before he died and gave him
Bob,
like
they
a
gave him,
Purple
I mean, he
Heart.
had the whole the burial and stuff. I told him they did the trumpet thing, the bugle thing, and it didn't work right because the battery was down. And I didn't want the 21 gun singer. I said, no, I can't take that.
You know, Billy, before he was in the Air Force, my brother Billy, he was in the National Guard and he did color guard, so he did the funerals and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they gave my dad a hat. We put it in the casket when he was buried because he really loved that Purple Heart hat. He thought that was so good.
That came from Bob, like
Yeah.
that organization.
He said that when he came home from the service, nobody did anything. They
Yeah,
didn't
they
seem
never
to care.
recognized him.
You know, they were home and you just went back to normal life, civilian life, and you know, there was no fuss made or anything of him. So he liked it when he was old in his 90s and he had a fuss made on him.
When did he serve? He was
in World War II in the Navy.
Wow.
Yeah. South Pacific.
Oh.
He was wounded. Well, of course, because he got a Purple Heart.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember
Now,
the
do you
name.
still have his Purple Heart? You have it, like-
I put it in a safe place and I can't find it.
Oh, you sure? That's kind of cool. That's something to have, yeah.
That's me. Yeah, I have it. I want to take all his stuff and his brother.
Well, you'll come across it one of these days.
Yeah, well, it's in a box. It's in a jewelry box, and I don't know where I put the jewelry box. Because I've got a jewelry box I can't find.
Eggshells.
Just set it toward
We've got me in trouble.
How's the meatballs, Mike? Do you like them?
Yeah. Excellent.
His brother was killed in World War II, and I have a book that was sent to my granddad from the government of Britain because he was considered that he was killed in the Battle of Britain.
Oh.
And I have a nice book. I'm going to bring it out and show it to your dad sometime.
So his brother probably died pretty young then.
He was 21.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Are they hot?
So,
Oh, sweet.
There's a spoon right there too.
Yeah. And I want to take that book and some of my dad's stuff and give it to that. They're at the fair every year. They have a World War II thing. I was going to give it to him because I don't have any family, you know, to
That's out
pass
of
it on.
Sonestown.
Yeah.
Now, what did your mom die of for your mom? What like was she?
She had a massive heart attack.
Oh, is that what it was? And she was in the hospital like afterwards, or?
Yeah, she was in the hospital. She went in on Monday, October the 1st.
I know, like it was.
And she died on Friday, October the 5th.
She was trying to wait for me to be born.
Yeah, she was
And
trying
she
her
died
best.
October 5th, and I was born on the 19th.
Yeah, she was trying her best to hang in there. But you were just stubborn and you wouldn't come.
I guess. I still am.
True.
Nothing's changed.
They're all gonna pay for their Trump's too smart.
Yeah, that's a nice museum over there.
I've never been there, but I see him at the fair, and I thought that would be one place I could, give his stuff, the Purple Heart.
Relax.
whatever else I have of him. And there's a nice letter that his commanding officer wrote. Something about, I can't quote it completely.
This?
About how he worked non-stop when they were trying to get the engines back working on the ship and stuff. He was an electrician. Electrician's mate. I think he just was going for, you know, full electrician, but you know that happened. I think it was Iwo Jima, if I remember.
Did you know Mickey Sassini from Berwick? He's probably 90s now.
My dad probably knew him. He knew all this.
But he was when right after Hiroshima, when Japan signed the treaty to not end the war. He wasn't on that ship, but he was like on the ship docked right next to it. So he was right there when they ended the war.
I have to get all that stuff, and I have.
And then Paulie from Cons, my old boss, like after Hiroshima, he was one of the first crews that went into that city, you know, all, like after we nuked them. They had to wear all that gear and everything.
Did he ever talk about it and say what they saw?
A little bit, but not too much.
They didn't talk much. My dad never talked very much about being in the service and stuff. It's like they wanted to.
But I know they say like if somebody like, I mean, if people just got vaporized basically, but like if there was like a wall behind them, you could see their silhouette there because of difference in temperature. You know, they'd block some of that heat, and so you'd say like you'd see their silhouettes or you know like. Yeah, that'd be kind of creepy, but I guess when you attack us at Pearl Harbor, I guess stuff's gonna happen.
How many people were there that died there?
Like the whole city.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tens of thousands.
I mean, it never happened in this day and age really because they were civilians. I mean, basically, I mean. They don't do that kind of stuff anymore. There's, you know, rules of engagement and things. I mean, obviously, if they nuke us, we're going to send a nuke back. But in just a regular war, I don't see us targeting an entire city, mostly of civilians like that. I mean, now even in Iraq and stuff, they go to great lengths to try to not.
They try to not.
But when you're fighting in urban areas, there's going to be casualties. One thing back then, the media wasn't like it is today. I mean, stuff that happened over there stayed over there. Now CNN would be telling everything that happened.
Yeah, you'd watch it as it happened.
But really, in a lot of war situations, stuff should stay over there. Like,
if people knew what really happened some places.
Well, for instance, that movie based on a true story, what's his name, Lone Survivor, but it was at Operation Red Wings like 2005 in Afghanistan, and these special forces guys, Navy SEALs, they were supposed to just be spying on like this, like Taliban in part of Afghanistan, and there was 5 guys, 5 Navy SEAls. They were like in the mountains, you know, and they came across some village people, like from a village, and they're like, "Well, what do we do?" And they're like, "If we let them go, they're gonna go tell the rest of them, and if we kill them, you know, we're gonna go to prison. It's gonna be on CNN. It's gonna be, you know." So basically, they ended up. I think they just kind of like tied them there and just left them there, and they got free and they went and told the Taliban. Well, meanwhile, it's like. Ends up it's like thousands of Taliban against 5 guys, 5 Americans, and then all these battles. I mean, they were doing pretty good because they had a lot better guns and equipment and everything. But anyway, we sent a helicopter to rescue them. The Taliban shot that down. So because they let these villagers go, 28 Americans ended up dying. Or if they would have just. You know, they would have all got out of there alive, and only one of the 5 survived. What was his name? Is it? He spoke at like the Republican convention 4 years ago. So, I can't think of his name. Marcus Luttrell, that's what it was. And the other guy, Michael Murphy, he like went to Penn State, and I think he's buried in upstate New York where he's from. But Marcus Luttrell's the only one of the 5 that lived, and even he was like he was in bad shape by the time he got out of there. But that's what I say, some stuff that happens over there should just stay there. I mean, if it ended up costing 28 American lives because they didn't want to get in trouble. And they knew what they were going to do. They knew if they let these guys go, they were just going to go tell the rest and what was going to happen.
They wouldn't be held accountable. Like they could get away with it.
Like the Taliban?
Yeah.
Oh, they can do anything they want over there. They don't.
Look how many.
They don't have the laws we have.
No, they don't have
They could kill you as soon as look at you and nobody cares.
It was like in Vietnam. Donnie's cousin's husband served in Vietnam. He was a pilot. And he told Donnie one time that he says, you're flying over the field and you see all these farmers down there with hoes, raking, and he said then they turn around and lift it up and it's not hoes, it's rifles and they start shooting at you.
Wow.
Did you try some of this? Chow chow? You don't like it?
Come here.
Never tried it.
Down. Come here.
Why is it hot?
I don't think it's hot. My dad
It's
likes
supposed
it.
to be sweet.
Sweet pepper.
Sweet pepper. It's supposed to be sweet. I don't know. Although it's very, I saw a program today about how fermented foods are very healthy for you.
Getting back to Marcus Luttrell, I will say he did survive because one of the village people. See, the people over there don't like the Taliban either, so they're like the villagers fighting a lot of the village. And this guy took him in and kind of nursed him back to health. And meanwhile, the Taliban found him. They go to his village, and the villagers are fighting the Taliban. And then you just see this Black Hawk helicopter come down in the middle of the road in the village, and just bullets flying everywhere, and you just see them scattered. Crazy. That was an amazing scene. Because you just, those things, when they spray bullets, they're just like going everywhere.
Well, when you're on the way home, ask her every 5 seconds.
That was a good movie.
That's for Sophie to do.
Where is Jim? Where's Dad?
She said that she was going to leave him on the side of the road. Not Cody.
We learned something new when we bought that Jeep.
Oh,
The guy told us that it's a tradition ever since the Jeeps came to America. After World War II, they brought them back from the war. And a lot of the soldiers drove Jeeps when they came home because they liked them so much. So they said, when you pass another Jeep, you'll do a wave like that. That's what the soldiers used to do to each other coming back. So they said that would be another soldier waving to another soldier driving the Jeep.
Did you see the new one they're coming out with, the Jeep minivan? Oh man, they're awesome looking for a minivan. Isn't that cool?
Oh,
It's different. Wow.
For like a family minivan.
That's weird.
Alright, I know your strap.
Hey, that is neat.
I think it's sharp looking. I think it looks cool. I mean, I won't really need a minivan, but I think as far as minivan goes, I think that looks really cool. Of course, no, all Jeeps are expensive, so it's probably gonna be 60 grand. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Another thing my dad said is after the war, they dumped so many Jeeps and things in the ocean.
Wow.
Because they said nobody would have had a job in America for like 20 years. Because they had produced so many tanks and Jeeps and everything for the war that he said they just, and I heard that from somebody else too that I worked with. Her dad told her the same thing. That they just dumped loads and loads and loads.
I see like new Jeeps around that always say Willie on them. I don't know what that meant, but I guess that's what they call them in the war, like the Jeeps. Yeah, Willies. I didn't know. I never heard that.
You know what?
Yeah, that's what they called the Jeeps in the World War II, Willies. That's why when you see the Jeeps around someone on the front, they say Willie. Like, that's what it is.
I can remember seeing him as a baby.
I always thought that was the company that made it.
And all of a sudden he just started climbing the leg and
What do I know?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the Jeeps around and said Willie. I seen the one. I just figured, well, maybe that's the guy's name or something he had to put on there, but I didn't know.
There's a connection to World War II with this. So when the guy told us about the Jeep Wave, that's what
Tyler, we
came
got
from.
food and
I'm
water
like,
to
that's
do
cool.
before I go to bed.
Kept that tradition going on from World War II.
How he's bringing bread.
Hi, pretty boy.
That's like
He's like, I got bread.
Fred Kramer who lives over here by 14th Street
Yeah,
Store.
he lets me pet his head.
When I was at Tom's, he came in one time and he
Has
had
to be quiet.
I think it was a 45, And the grip had the Nazi swastika. He told me, he said back then he took it off a dead German soldier. It was a 45 and had the Nazi, swastika on the grip and everything. He's like, what would it be worth? And I have no idea. So he died then. He died, and even as Ace, his son, comes in. I don't know that well. He says, oh, where's the guns? Your dad just come in.
She's hibernating.
He had a German gun with a swastika. He didn't even know nothing about it. He says he's never seen it, so I don't know whatever happened. Apparently his dad never even showed it to him.
I've got a book in Japanese.
Yeah, maybe, but you think when he was growing up or something, he showed it to him?
I have a knife and a book in Japanese, something else, goggles or something that my dad picked up off. I'm assuming a dead Japanese soldier.
Well, back then they could get away with that stuff, bringing stuff back.
Yeah.
Even back then, I guess they weren't really supposed to, but it was a lot easier now.
Yeah.
Now it'd be harder to get it back in.
Well, he took pictures and slides and stuff. And he said a lot of them didn't come back because they had to go to the center. He said there was piles and piles.
Set it there for now.
Oh, damn, that's a cool one, too.
He said there were piles of bodies.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And they would just bulldoze the bodies every single
It has like that winter,
big grave and cover it. Yeah.
it has that winter digital camo.
And he said those pictures never came back. They censored them. They wouldn't let them come back. He has pictures of, you can see the bullets flying through the air. And he was on show.
Wow. Like big.
Well, I mean, it looked like rain coming down with these bullets.
Or did you see the new Jeep minivan they're coming out with? Isn't that
And I'm
awesome?
thinking, you're crazy to stand up there with the camera while you're being shot at. But
Yeah, it takes one stray bullet. That'll get you. What'd she say?
What, the Jeep minivan?
Yeah.
She said it's cool. Janessa's already warming her up to
Do you
that.
have any ideas?
Well, Janessa said you're the one that's going to want it next.
That picture of the stadium when you play football, that's my, it was in the paper.
I'm looking forward to taking my top off and
You know how to do it now? I showed you that one time.
yeah, but
The hard part is right in the front, getting that pin down in there. That one pin, if you get that in, the rest of it kind of lines up.
but that whole back thing comes off too. The back top.
Yeah, well, we didn't know that day. We figured it would, but we didn't know how.
Eventually, those guys are gonna get it anyway.
Try that.
I
Yeah.
It gives me something to look for, you know. I think the first list I mentioned.
Well, I don't really. I have it. There it is.
He likes checking down an MRI. It's freaking hilarious. It's a hospital to see what he's done to his knee. He thinks it's torn meniscus, but he cries wolf a lot. So
Have you heard much on your mom? What are they saying?
I haven't talked to the nursing home at all. I know she wants to come home pretty bad. I don't know as far as how she's doing. I would assume she's about the same. I don't think she's ever going to walk great.
She's not doing the therapy.
I have no idea. I really don't know. We're not allowed in, so who knows what's
Well,
going
your
on.
dad said they're not doing therapy at all with her. And then somebody else said that she refuses to get up and that they can't make her get up. And she
But then she denied that and says, no, they never asked me to get up.
See, she says they're not getting her up.
She
and
says
they
one
say
thing and they say another.
She
So,
won't get up, so who knows what's going on.
Yeah.
and we can't get in to see what's going on. So,
Yeah.
You won't know.
yeah, there's no way of knowing what's going on, really. 'Cause they say one thing, she says the other, and the truth is probably somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. She usually is.
alright, going out.
Because I don't think they're ever going to tell you she's doing great, and they're not going to work with her off because they don't want her to leave. They want the
They
$10,000 a
want the
month.
money.
Yeah.
They want the money.
And she's going to tell you she's doing great because she wants out.
She
So,
wants to come out.
Pick a side and
and when you can't get in because of this virus, there's no way to know unless you see it yourself.
Yeah, but you think they'd have to be accountable and give you like a report
They don't have to do anything.
I would think so.
for that kind of money?
They don't have to do anything. You can call and demand answers, but that doesn't mean they're going to tell you truthful answers. Those meatballs were pretty good. Oh, good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were behind me. Didn't know you was back there, dude.
This is about your mom.
Just bump into you.
I got like behind. on, jobs because of COVID, and now it's like trying to catch up.
Try the portet.
Yeah, yeah.
Who's next?
Put some of that on that.
No, I never tried that.
It's really good.
It was good seasoning on that.
I bought it. $8.
Wow, from IGA?
No, from Ready Meat Terminal.
Wow, it was good. They seasoned it like perfectly.
Yeah, right here. You gotta ask them for it. Because I went in looking for it.
So you put that on?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's $8 just for that. So you can imagine what a bigger one
Where's
is.
the lid of that one? This one goes to this one. Oh, it's over there.
It's over here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you need to or what, but
$8. $8 and the pork was 14 for pork loin.
Yeah, those are good spices. I wonder what they put in it. They don't tell you
No,
either.
they won't tell you. That way you can make your own. They're not telling.
$16 a pound.
Wrapped his toe and wouldn't let go.
Well, it looks
It
like
was
fennel.
hilarious. I was like, God, you damn it, Simon. Yep.
How was the meatballs? Were they good?
Hot pepper.
Simon liked them too.
I don't know what that orange is. No, like seasoning salt or like.
What was that?
Porchetta mix.
Trying to figure out.
He had a rip on his toe and wouldn't let go. I wake up and not yet.
She's gonna get a virus in shipping there. It's gonna rain in a couple days.
Oh, look at you. That's why I don't want to learn.
How was Pizza Lovin'?
Good.
he's been there, done that.
She went along too.
One had the wings.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, I get the mild wings. My dad got the sweet barbecue. We got pizza. He got a
I
salad.
get a salad, which is like enormous.
Yeah.
And I usually bring half of it home.
Putting in your name.
I have guests at my house and I have to run and get some fruit at the store. So I'm probably gonna go there.
I'm from the Italian side of the family.
What?
I'm from the Italian side of the family. We're still trying to find where that side came from.
Ready for bed.
Yeah.
Tortoise will live longer.
For a while, but I gotta get.
Yeah, be excited who their parents
Yes,
are going to be.
I win the ice hike up at Ricketts.
Nice. I'll take her.
They'll probably have to be at your place because they got too many dogs.
This new stimulus package, they had to include that $15 federal minimum wage in there. So now, people are gonna want their stimulus, and they're just gonna want free money, and they're gonna sneak that in there with it. But
You have to
man,
get the vaccine too.
they can't force you to do it. They can't make
They
you.
weren't gonna force you, but they were saying that
You might have
you
to.
got it, but it,
You might get
the
a,
money or something, you had to have the vaccine.
either that or some places they might give you a card saying you're vaccinated, and some events or sporting events or something, they might make you have the card to get in. Like I can see that happening.
For a lot of
Well, the thing that got me now, like cities like Chicago completely shut down all year, and now that the week Biden's taken over, the Democrat mayor, that lady looks like Beetlejuice with the short hair. What's her name? I can't even think. She starts with an L, but she says Chicago has to open up ASAP, like days before he takes over. Now the Democrats are almost saying that. So they want to open it up just so the economy's good. And, oh, Biden saved us.
Where they have trouble swallowing babies.
There's nothing but political sabotage. You wait. When he takes over, they're going to start talking a lot less about coronavirus. And miraculously, the flu and colds will be back. And it won't be COVID.
You're on a mechanical diet.
Yeah. COVID has thousands of cases and there's no flu. I don't know.
How's your sleeping pills been working? Doing better?
They're his sleeping pills. I haven't taken them, but I use NyQuil. I don't sleep with it. I did go to the doctor about that rash on my leg and stuff like that.
What was it? Reaction to
No, it was, get this is the freak part. It's pityriasis rosea, it's called. You get it from having a virus, and people are getting it. The few weeks after they recover from COVID.
Oh shit.
So I told you, I think I had COVID in March of 2019, and then if I got it this fall, I was probably asymptomatic because I'd already beaten it off,
It doesn't last long.
and I just got the rash.
Wow.
Flavor dies fast.
I would have
Those
never
meatballs
expected
were
that.
amazing.
Well, thank you.
They were really good.
I gave you that recipe for it, didn't I?
Half pork and half.
Well, it's the recipe is 2 pounds of beef to 1 pound of ground pork, and then the other stuff. But yeah,
Horrible.
they always have a great flavor. They taste almost like Polly's meatballs. That's why I like them. Gabe never gave me the recipe, but I found one on the internet that tasted real close, which is like those. So Gabe's an idiot. He never gave me that recipe. I asked him like years later. He still never did. Now I got Alvin Hill. He got the recipe for the MMA fireballs. He's supposed to get to. I want to make those because I like their fireballs, but I never had the recipe. So when I make meatballs, I can throw a few.
I'm gonna run
See
to
something fly?
Yeah, it looks like a little fruit fly.
Like, wait a minute, am I
Still
seeing
alive.
spots?
They're still.
I thought I was seeing
If you guys
spots.
want to take a few meatballs with you, we probably, I don't know, there's still a lot left, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's a lot of them there.
Yeah, so you can, we can put them in a container if you just want to take some home, because we're not going to be able to eat
Are
all
you
this
gonna eat
stuff.
anything?
He ate.
What do you have, pizza?
Jake ate?
I think he had pizza, didn't he?
I think he had meatballs too. I'm gonna run to the Aldi's. I'll be back.
I actually made those meatballs yesterday because I had to work today, so I just made them and then I put them in the oven for 10 minutes, flipped them, put them in for
Mom,
10
can I
minutes,
come?
and then I let them cool and put them in the refrigerator. And then
Mom, can I
today on my lunch, I put it all in the
I go,
crock
Mom?
pot. Meatballs are always better the next day anyway than the day you make
Yeah,
them.
they get the flavor through them.
They're always better the day after you make them.
They all three wanna. They all both wanna go with me
Why?
to Aldi's.
For what?
I just gotta run in and get a little bit of fruit. I'll be back.
Just, I'm sitting in the front. You don't have a milk.
Ready to go? Yes. 21st.
So that rash I had, you get from having a virus, and people are getting it after COVID.
Maybe they give you something for it to go away.
There's nothing they can do. It just goes away on its own eventually. He did give me 2 medicines in case he was wrong, but it's starting to fade now. I did the medicine, but it's just starting to go away. But yeah, here's the paper.
You were surprised when he said that.
Well, he didn't say about COVID, but I googled it then when I got home and people are getting that same rash. But he said it wasn't following the normal pattern that rash follows because it was on my leg. But that's basically that. I had some of those big patches and then there was little ones, and that's what it talks about, how it has a mother patch and daughter patches. It's not a fungal infection. It's not like bug bites. It's something you get from having a virus inside your body.
What did your boss say when you told him?
Oh,
I showed you
He's
that.
the one busting you about it.
That's you.
Oh,
About those
I just let it go. I don't care.
Oh no, I
bugs.
think I'm on there.
This isn't contagious either, so like that rash, nobody can catch it from you.
It's a cute baby though.
angry
Angry baby. I wonder if she's gonna have that much hair.
baby. I don't know if she's showing full head of hair at
She
least.
does. She's a hairy little monkey. Unlike her sister. What? Can't help how you come out. You were slightly bald, baby.
Thanks again for.
Yeah, she didn't have a lot of that. You got chubby little
She
cheekers.
Yeah, mine lasted like.
Orange tastes like ass.
It still have a little bit for fading. It's not as bad as it was, but that's going on. I don't know. It can last longer than that, even I guess, according to online.
Did it bother you, like itching or?
Oh yeah, for a while it was intense.
Wow, that's what it says, unbearable itching.
That's why one of the reasons I couldn't sleep at night, because at night it would itch so bad it would just wake me up in the middle of the night. And that's why I was using like the coconut oil and tea tree oil and CeraVe, that cream, which is expensive. A little tub like that is like $25. And then I'd use a cortisone 10. I'd use a combination of everything. And it would help, I mean, to a certain extent. But now I'm just glad it's going away. Because they say only 2 to 3% of people that ever have this ever get it again, so I'll probably never get it again.
Wow.
weird.
Let folks talk, and people talk about me. Yeah, 'cause you know, they used to call a wild.
That's for on the pork.
Made in Tamaqua. That's cool. Grouse Hunt
Right here.
Farms.
See right here, pityriasis zeolite eruption revealing COVID-19.
Huh.
It's pretty weird. So I probably did have it at some point. I think I told you I had it in March of 2019. It was the same exact thing as COVID.
Yeah.
And then if I was exposed this probably in the fall, I probably just didn't get it because my body already beat it
You
off.
already had it. Yeah.
Your body remembers things that beat off. I mean, that it beat, and you probably still keep those.
And that went through your whole store.
4 or 5 of us had it. Because Jack is in his 80s. He was like in intensive care with it.
Wow. And he survived it.
But he was off for like 2 months, I think. Or something. It was-
But nobody here ever got it when you got it?
He got sick a little bit, but he wasn't as bad as I was. Because when I had it is when I bought my car. I went to the car dealership with it. I don't know if I should ask Elaine if she ever got sick after that, because like we were sitting across the table when I was doing the paperwork and stuff.
Yeah.
I had a fever then, I think.
Huh.
And he rode in the car with me, and he got a little sick, but he didn't get it not like I had it. He did a lot better with it than I did.
Yeah.
But it was the same thing, because even after you got better, you'd get like fevers, and then you'd feel fine, and then you'd go back to being clammy. I mean, it just kept coming and going, like they say COVID does.
How long did you have it?
It was like that
I still remember
for me, probably. I had it real bad for the first 2 days, and then the third day is when I started getting a little bit better.
When he was
And then
younger.
I would say probably a week or more till. I mean, I had the cough for long after, but because Anthony, the guy I work with, he gets his medicine through the VA. He's a veteran and stuff, and he gave me like some of his prescription coughing pills because I don't want to go to the doctor.
What? Well, the one time I had my eyes locked on that door, and all of a sudden I see him fly out and fall.
Yeah, that's.
I
But Dr. Alley said I had pityriasis
ran
rosea.
across that street. I go to whoop his
Weird
ass. And I looked at him and I'm like, you tell your fucking parents that I'm whooped their ass too. And my mom's like, I'll take it in the car. He's always
You've been buying your Powerball and the
whoop his ass. I'll whoop his
Mega
mom's
Millions
ass.
tickets?
No, I haven't played it.
Well, then don't steal mine.
Tonight?
One of them's tonight, I think.
Yeah.
The one was last night. I don't think I won.
That's why I cares.
But the Mega Millions is going to be next drawing. Tuesday's going to be over 800 million.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what she said. I seen that. That is so cute.
I hit in 800 million my working days.
Oh, he saved it. Yeah.
Hope mine are.
Who was he trying to save?
Mike will be my accountant that takes me across the table.
You need an administrative assistant to keep track of
It's
everything.
like Wednesday after your year is over.
Yeah, I can't wait. This year especially.
You want out? You want Barrel?
Freaking thing jumped out after I paid $30 for it, man. Like she had it all nice. Like she
In
had
some
it
ways it's easier this year, but some ways it's harder.
You deserve a place at the table too.
You're dealing with the computer a lot,
overnight, so
and
he
then
died.
people in front of you a lot. So it's hard to juggle both.
Yeah.
I'd be lost without this little guy.
Are you okay?
He knows he's loved in this house, don't he?
Yeah, I like that one.
See, after I got home, how good he was around Cody?
Why was he barking?
I guess before I got
Oh,
here.
yeah, you wouldn't shut up.
And then after I get home, it's
Then he was quiet.
yeah, he's perfectly fine after I get home.
He has to get used to Cody.
He is badly spoiled.
Tonight we're gonna play some poker. You wanna play toys today?
So, yeah, it's hard to believe that the year was over.
You on camera? See? Hey, you on camera,
They're
boy?
trying to push the vaccine on people up there, saying that they're gonna give it for free.
I'd take it. That's what the year.
I'm not ready for it yet.
That's like Dollar General. They're saying, well, if their employees get it, they'll give them 4 hours pay. That's like, they probably pay minimum wage. That's like,
Pay 'em that much.
I was gonna say, that's probably like after taxes, $20.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Until there's a wall at the end of the steps.
Marla's scheduled to
They
be
make sharp turns.
last Wednesday or this Wednesday.
No, a week from tomorrow is what they told us, the 24th. But she thought she already had a shot. I don't know. They don't tell you nothing.
Or maybe she got the flu shot.
No, she had the flu shot before.
Did that before?
You haven't been able to get up there to see her at all?
They don't lie in.
Through the window again, or?
Well,
Christmas Eve was the last, but the windows are tinted, so you can't see good anyway.
Dr. Alley said, Bill, have you had the flu shot yet? I said, no. And I said, neither did she.
They can basically do whatever they want there.
And that's why we got flu shots.
That's wrong.
Now, a lot of times I got it upstairs if the guy center was there.
I hope he gets her out of
I
there.
just don't feel really going to CVS or one of them. Give me a flu shot. I don't know. That's me.
I know. That stuff you should get at the doctor's office.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
I was surprised Geisinger vaccinated like 17,000 already, it said in the paper the other day.
Really?
Yeah, it was in the paper the other day.
I'm going to ask him when I get down there.
It's not available to the public yet. They do it in phases. Like, first was nursing homes and medical workers, and then next phase after that is going to be like essential employees, and they have different phases till it becomes public.
I don't think I've ever had these this hot.
I'll get it if it's offered to me. But I'd rather have the Pfizer one, but it seems we have the Moderna one around here, so either one's like 95%, I think, after you get both of them.
I'm just afraid of the long-term effects of it. Like, they don't know.
Yeah, you don't know because it's only been out for
Right.
such a short time. Nobody's really
They
tested it.
scramble to get it done, and
Yeah, that's what I don't like about it. It was rushed.
yeah.
And who knows? You might be okay now, but then
Yeah,
maybe
20
next
years.
year.
I wonder
you
how
have
much
to get
actually
some.
different it is than a flu shot, though, because they're all part of the same virus family, so I mean...
Well, you know what gets me too? When you
Check.
get the flu shot, they tell you that you might still get the flu because there's so many different kinds of flu viruses that it might not.
But it might not be.
true one.
But it might not be severe either. Right? You know,
I don't believe-
if you get the flu, it may not be.
I don't believe this is going to be a 1 or 2 stage
Like
shot.
with this,
I
if
believe
you
it's
get the
gonna be every
vaccine, you
year.
might still get COVID, but it probably wouldn't be deadly or
every
severe.
year because COVID strand is going to change.
It's going to change. We'll just
Yeah.
like it already mutated.
So it's just
And they got
another
different.
money maker for them.
Yeah, it's all about the money.
It was. Let's face it, the numbers were way exaggerated anyway. So, I mean, they were listing nearly every death, no matter what you died of, was COVID. 21-year-old and.
Yeah, but I don't know if you noticed that there's an awful lot more obituaries in the newspaper than there used to be.
But like a 21-year-old in Tennessee died in a motor.
Spans of people in age.
Oh, that I like.
I don't have I'm done.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I.
But I told you, a 21-year-old kid died in a motorcycle accident in Tennessee. Died in a motorcycle accident. They listed on his death certificate COVID. His family was like, what? He died. He did not.
A lot of manipulation of
He
it.
wants his food dish.
Well, I'm of the belief China created this on purpose, so I think they'll have a way to end it on purpose.
In
when they want to.
conjunction with the Democrats.
I think so. That's my
Believe
belief.
that. Well,
But I
didn't
think
they
they'll have.
fund-
Well, I also think they'll have a way to end it on purpose.
Didn't Obama fund that lab?
I've read stuff like that.
4 or 5.
Bill Gates was over there, and I even heard Nancy Pelosi was over there.
And there it was like wandering around upside down.
I don't believe it.
Confusing and indecisive. How? I don't think that's right.
You ever hear anything from
No.
Kuchka anymore?
No,
I'll
not
learn
much.
Japanese in 1 second.
No. I hear bits and pieces through different people. He's hunting a lot and stuff. And still lives upriver there. Nothing changed on that.
Hey, what was Greg Lemowski's brother's name?
Pornhub.
There was Greg and Craig.
Oh my
Craig,
God.
yes. to a break in car.
Which is the oldest one?
I think they're twins, aren't they?
I don't know. I was gonna say I don't know which one's older.
I thought they were born at the same time. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh my God, you don't even get it. Okay.
Well, the one said he was friends with Terry. Well, they were both friends with Terry. But he's like, I talked to the one that drives the FedEx. And he said, I used to call Terry and talk to him all the time. And then he stopped talking. And he said, then he stopped answering the phone. And he's like, now I don't even call him anymore. He's like, I don't know what happened to the guy.
I like Terry. I was friends with Terry. I told you that before.
Well, he came out when he was back in town.
One time he came
here.
Yeah, he like sat on the porch with my dad for a couple hours.
Yeah.
That was after I think he was out in Wisconsin. He came back.
Yeah, see, when he was living with Marks or down there in Park Place Village, he was also a cop. I don't know if you remember that or not. He did
Well, yeah, he remembers Terry being a cop.
And
Because when we got pulled over, he was a cop.
one night, him and Gene, I think it was Gene Gold, got into an argument or something like that there, and he needed to ride home. Gene says, you gotta ride home, I'll make sure you get there. And Terry said, Schultz will take me home just like that, you know. I said, don't worry about it. So I took him
Fine, I don't know.
Clarius? Yeah, because
him and I talked a couple times. He had bought a place in Ohio.
What's her birthday?
He bought a house.
Ohio, or was because I thought he went to Wisconsin.
I don't know. I thought it was Ohio.
He lives in Wisconsin.
I think he's further out. Yeah, Wisconsin is where his sister lives.
And he bought a house there. And, he did say what he was doing, but I forget what it was.
I thought he was a security in a hospital, big hospital.
That was
I don't know. I don't know if that's still what he's doing or not.
That was a nice house he had down there.
You know who owns it? I just found out. The guidance counselor at my school.
Without insurance?
She bought it.
Sorry. I think that's a bit ridiculous.
Who's that?
Paying 32 for 9
Melito.
years, 2 free years.
Melito.
Yeah. She was married to that Butch Melito.
Oh, okay.
His wife. Oh, you were thinking Alf
They're
Melito.
divorced, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so because that Butch Melito's with that Pam Mason, Sandy Mason's daughter.
It's the one I'm thinking of. And he was, I think she got pregnant,
Is she gonna come or what is she
and
doing?
they had to get married. And his buddies were sitting over here on this side, and he was over there, of course, with her. And oh, they, you know, back and forth, they were picking on him too. That, at that time, you know. But I haven't seen him. I probably didn't know him. If I did see him, he probably changed him up. But, oh, that was quite a night.
Yeah. I don't know him. I don't know who the guy is, but he's a basketball coach down at Botech, and I guess he's a teacher down there.
Well, quite a few of them coaches down at Botech. Football coaches from Berwick.
Yeah.
Yes. That's related. That was relayed to Vaughn.
Central.
Or Central.
Yeah. They all left Berwick and went there. Harmon Terry, Mike Hall, McHall.
He was the art matters.
He went there, coaching with them. E.J. Smith, a bunch of them. They all left Berwick.
Well, it's you know, there for a while, they were bringing in strangers rather than higher up the ranks. You know, that's what Dave Robinson said. You know, we talked to him. It was a shame.
They should have hired that Carl Major.
Like that year, remember?
He would have been a good coach.
Stopping in and they never did. And I had his gifts. I finally ended up keeping them.
Francisco,
Because they never paid.
passed him. You know, the coaching years,
It's a different,
different football, than
different
what
game
he-
today.
He's had a couple championship years, but now it's
I
it's
know, I hate
past
my
it.
picture taken.
The other thing is, he plays the same plays all the way through, and see, like
That's what that guy at Northwest does. The same plays right up the middle.
And see what Curry used to do.
Cody.
He play. If you ever
Look at
noticed,
me.
he play a number of plays the first half, but then he turn around, and switch it the second half.
Yep.
And then,
Mix it up.
and boy, that took them by surprise. They were expecting this,
Yep.
and I watched too much football.
Well, that's what won all those games for him.
I was telling her
Kip.
about who is it? Yeah, I think it was her. About the night that they had the
See, I
tournament
don't like it when you freaking wiggle your eyebrows at me. So
Where was this?
down at the field. Down the field, all the players was in from all the years.
Oh, the Curry night that they had.
So I'm sitting here at the house, and all of a sudden the phone rang, and I answered, "Schultz, where you at?" "I'm home. Where do you think I'm at?" And he says, "You better get your butt down here." I said, "Down where?" He said, "The football field." This is like
Who was it?
It was before. Guess. And I said, "What do I want to come down there for?" You know, like that. You know, better get your butt down here, or we're coming for you.
you're such a wonderful.
We know where you live, so we'll be right there.
For me.
I said, "All right, I'll come down." I go down, and I get out, get parked, and I'm walking in. All of a sudden, my feet's off the ground, and they're right into the table in there. And the next thing you know, I got one of those big plates they had. Oh man, that was easy. You know, and talk to him. And some of the guys, you know, that's quarterback from 1970s and all the way
Wow.
through. And I didn't recognize them.
Oh my gosh.
You know, they look so
Yeah,
different.
they're so changed.
That's what melted mine.
And one guy from
So
Orlando,
who wasn't that called here for you?
Orlando.
Oh, Bo.
And I sat there, and they said, "You're getting in line with me." I said, "Not a player." He said, "They said you spent as much time as we did, right? And so you're getting in line." I said, "No, I'll stand down at the corner. I'll get a picture taken of Curry when he comes out." And, you know, I'm on the field, but you know, so I stood down there. I'm getting it, but I didn't realize it. There was the guy that taking pictures for the CD. When he focused down on Curry, he got me. And Steve said to me, he says, "Dad, you're on that CD." And so I wanted it anyway. But that happened. But some of you know, you get back that far, they change so much. I didn't remember what's going.
He didn't live long after that, right? About a year?
No, that was
Not even?
I think it was either late October or early November in 2015, and he died in April of 2016. So 6 months later,
Jeez.
he died April 1st.
Yeah, it didn't last.
But he lived football. You know, he was.
Well, if you saw him at the end, I mean, you knew it wasn't going to be too long. He couldn't like he was like hunched over. He couldn't even stand up straight. Like
talk.
Yeah.
You don't get
You out of a donut?
No, I have to stand up.
Had
Before I stick my hand.
Here, let's move these chip bags and we'll have somebody take a picture of you and I with him.
That I brought it in, I didn't fit it all in, Dad had to use that.
I'm too old to
There's a bag over here.
Oh, is there that over here too? Okay.
Do you know how to? Could you take a picture or not? Basically, you just look through this, and then that black button in the front is to take the picture.
Black button in the front.
Yeah, where I just showed you.
That's awfully technical. I don't know if I can hear
That's the
Go this way
technical
real
term,
quick.
black
Excuse
button
me.
in the front. Get on the other side of him, Mike.
Alright, excuse me again.
Ready? Cheese.
Okay, now how about we try one where you're holding chips at it?
Is that automatically advanced?
I think so, yeah. It doesn't have film, it's digital.
Yeah.
Come on, Mike.
It's still too technical. Chipper. Ready? Chipper.
What'd you say?
That lady's an old lady.
Look at her, Chip.
Layla, now
Chip.
you're
Look at
Look at her.
crossing different territory here.
He's had his ears up on that one, so.
Oh.
I didn't catch him kissing you though, like I did Santa Claus that time.
Here, I'll hold him up for you. Get one shot.
I got Christine really on. Right here. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hello.
He's kissing him.
Chip, hey.
I'll send it to you after. Haven't heard that song in a while.
This is gonna be actually.
Layla.
What?
I want Layla. Come here.
Oh, that's a good one.
Alright. What's up?
Is he looking?
Come here.
This one he was. That's a good picture.
Huh.
Yep, come here.
You gotta have a picture taken.
Are you gonna
I'm sitting down.
Okay.
need help standing?
And I'm about
Thank you.
Yeah, you're good.
I think I have to.
Better get Mardell because it's our
No.
birthday too.
No.
Get over here.
I don't want any pictures taken.
Get your butt over here.
Why are people so against pictures?
Because I know I look awful in pictures.
What do you think?
I've never.
Look at us!
You guys look nice.
Your image is trapped in that picture forever.
That's the problem.
So you're like those people that believe it takes part of
The,
your
the
soul.
Amish.
Yeah, that's the problem. We're Amish and we don't want to lose our souls.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Okay.
Somebody will see that 100 years from now and
Wonder,
Ashley.
wonder who that was.
Hold on a second. Whew. Oh boy. Oh,
Because
that.
I've got an album of pictures of my dad's family.
vacuum
I'm not
trucks
sure
or
who those
her
people are.
Yeah.
No, I was chained.
That's a good start. We have to rush it to the hospital?
No,
What's that doing?
I think we do.
they passed.
No, she gets some on and off.
I
Once they
can't
start
stand up
coming every 5 minutes, then we go.
straight. I can't stand up straight.
Want to sit back down?
No, because that makes it worse.
Okay.
Are you
Sorry, you
transferring
just
it from
healed
that
my ass.
camera to your phone?
I can do
I
that.
literally can't stand up. I'm
crazy.
sorry. Go back.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to take a
Technology's-
picture with my phone.
This technology's passed me by.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really soft.
Thank you.
I get in camera and I can't get out of it. And I don't want to be in it.
What? Goat?
Goat's milk.
I don't know any of this stuff.
You okay?
Let's try it again.
Contraction. Oh, God.
All good right now, though.
Ashley.
Well, I'm doing this right now,
Do
so.
I really need my picture taken?
No.
no, but
Yeah.
also yes.
Don't let her have a baby right here.
Once you get past
I'm out of here. I didn't go through it with my wife. I don't think I can handle it. Oh my god. You better wait. She's going out. You ready for delivery, Steve? Oh my god. You're making me nervous.
One little seat. She's outside.
Yeah, they're having a baby out there. I'm gonna leave. I don't want to see this. She's getting worse.
Well, it can't be any worse than that hospital. It's
Oh my
cold.
god.
The hospital's cold. You know why they keep the hospital cold? I'm
Keep the
surprised the
virus.
school. I'm surprised the school doesn't do it.
Keep the viruses
The
out.
virus down and the bugs. The bugs don't like the cold.
Wow.
And they won't be in the building.
Maybe they should do that at the school.
They used to spray it.
I see bugs all over up there. It's dirty.
Roaches or what?
Those long silverfish.
Yeah.
I killed a roach in my room. There's big spiders, like big spiders. The kids step on them.
I'm surprised.
All kinds
They
of
used
stuff.
to have somebody come around and spray it.
She just gets
Probably too many people are sensitive to it.
It means she's getting close, but
Oh my god.
here's her phone, man.
I have no pockets. You start going. I'm going. You start what?
You will not have a baby here tonight. You have to wait until next week.
Next week.
Hey, we'll wait till I leave at least.
Oh, okay.
I can't be involved.
Hey, hey, hey!
Oh, Chip. It's okay. You'll find this entire time.
Hey!
Now he's acting.
It's gonna
It
be
was
okay.
earlier.
No.
It's gonna be
That'll be good. Yeah.
Steve, get some hot towels ready. Boil some hot water. I don't know why. What do you do with the hot water?
I have to pee and then I'll take a picture.
Oh, it's okay.
Chip!
Chipper.
Hey! Behave!
You were nice to him before.
Yeah.
We only
Hey.
have
He's
that
not
one.
gonna hurt you.
It's okay.
I told you, he's okay, Chip. Behave.
Yeah, he goes back and forth because he hopped up on my lap earlier and was perfectly fine with
He
me.
forgets.
Then he
He
goes,
forgets who you are.
Get up. Get over here.
wait, for what?
Photograph. Photo op.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
go grab a drink anyway. Ugh.
You get it on
Yep.
I can't wait to hear what your mother has to say about that book.
Yeah, I'll let you know exactly what she says because I know, I told her all about it. She can't wait to see it. She's excited for it.
I told her a couple times now, that was one of my biggest, what's the word?
Projects?
Well, project, but I mean the biggest satisfaction.
Oh,
Why,
yeah.
what book are you talking about?
My cookbook. Because it went back so far.
Yeah. Went all the way back to what, 1876 or something like that?
And, you know,
Yeah. I mean, that was really cool. And I know,
it was one of those things, when I first seen it, and I seen how bad
You gonna bite me too?
mm-hmm.
Are you
The
gonna
fact
bite
that
me?
you were able to salvage that much was impressive.
I thought first off the bat, I just hear it, you know, and then the more I thought about it, you know, and then I started bugging me. And then, so I just figured, better do it. Get it over with.
That's cool back there.
That was a lot of
Yeah,
But
no,
then,
it was.
and then finding the pictures, to go, you know, then we had to get the pictures to go with it and everything. Now, when they had it, Doris had it,
Tyler, I just did your job.
You said I was gonna do it later.
What?
You said I was gonna do it later.
Well, I did it.
It was neat.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that you were able to actually get it.
No, the other one that she'd been helping with was the Civil War.
Oh, really?
So we stayed here.
Oh,
Okay.
You want to stand or sit?
I'll stand.
Huh?
I'll stand.
I don't feel anything.
Okay.
Oh, I still did it anyway. Sure, I'll better look out this end and not like I just had it trapped.
Tyler?
Okay.
I'm probably gonna head out.
Laura!
You said I was gonna open it up. And
Laura!
I'm trying to figure this out here.
Photo
What am I doing?
Tyler!
What do we got?
I don't have a picture of you and Tyler they made. Over here.
Other side, toward over here.
Yeah. He's gonna have to kneel. The camera can't pick up that ball.
Yeah, his head's in the seat. You're gonna have to scrunch down a little bit.
You want me to show you how? In the knee. Alright, over here.
Everybody look.
Didn't cut his head off, did you?
Go ahead. Off with his head.
Hey, Mike, you can come over here and I'll get one of you yet. And me.
Over here.
Oh, there we go. Good path.
This is the last picture for a while. I gotta try to figure something out with this.
Okay.
Oh, hell.
Oh, that got on.
That never got turned off.
What was it?
The porkette and the hot.
Oh, oh yeah.
What was that?
Hot spoon that was left
What
in
was it that
there.
got in there?
Down in there.
It melted?
Alright, we're gonna
No,
get
it's
going.
hot.
I'm gonna go home.
Later.
Hey,
Good luck.
have a safe trip.
I will.
Hey, oh, and happy early birthday.
Yeah.
Keep us posted.
Yeah.
Not yet.
What came on there?
That time will come soon enough.
Like a level type thing. I don't even know what it is.
Ashley,
Yes.
grab that.
Oh yeah. Alright. Hold on.
Love you.
See ya.
All right. Tyler.
I don't know. It says I gotta update the firmware and the camera to connect it to my phone because my phone's in the phone. I don't know how to do that.
Seat back. I'll get out of your way. Okay.
What the?
Firmware, camera, memory card containing firmware is required. Well, there's a memory card in there.
The way my system is,
Oh, see it.
What?
yeah, Mike said there's some crunchy stuff.
Talk about something complicated to
Goodbye,
use. This
Janessa. She's standing right there.
is even complicated by my standards.
All right, Mike. Did you say there's crunchy stuff in the?
Yeah, there's just like crunchy sprinkles in there or something.
What?
What?
Crunchy sprinkles by now.
In the
Be
mac and
good.
cheese?
Stop getting tall because you're gonna be outgrowing me too.
I don't get what it was.
Now here's Janessa and here's you. And now I'm gonna be here and you're gonna be up here.
I know, right?
Oh no.
Carrie, want the relish?
Harry was trying to get me into trouble and he said
But save me some.
tell her there's crunchy stuff in there.
He's young. Just save me some. A little. Okay, kick your ass!
You want me to store the seasoning in there for you, or you want to store it here?
When are they gonna start your
I
demolition?
might want to add it.
The money's here. It's in there in an envelope. And I talked to him. See, he wanted to do it before it got so cold. For the weather.
Yeah, these are ones I bought.
We don't know.
Why?
I talked to him the other day and he said, I'll get it, Shelby. Did
Make
he?
sure he puts you on the schedule
Yeah.
Save me a little
because I
money.
see them all around working. You know.
And inside mostly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I understand it, but the inside.
Yeah.
No, just the meat with that in
It's
there?
gonna be one
Well,
of those.
we don't really care. I mean, it doesn't matter to us at this point. Zoning's not going to, it can't get on us because we have it scheduled to be done. It's not up to us when it happens. And we use the guy the zoning officer recommended, so I mean,
I gotta talk to my buddy again, but
so what could they do? I mean, we have it scheduled. It's not up to us when he does it.
we've had
Government.
Hawkins. He's
Parkins. It's Greg Harkins' dad.
Yeah. He
He graduated with his son.
and he's because I talked to him before when I knew it had to be done.
Yeah.
I called him out here. He didn't want to come out. I called him out here and he said, it really needs to come down. I said, yeah. But I said, before you get into it, let's remember one thing. You and I have been friends for years.
Why didn't he want to come out?
And, well, you know, he didn't want to get in an argument or something, you know. And he says, I said, you and I have been friends for years. I don't want this to come between us. I still want to be your friend, and I want you as a friend.
What'd he say?
I got macaroni out in the afternoon.
He must have thought he was coming for a fight. That's what they get most of the time.
He was actually really nice to us about it. He's like, he even said, he's like, I'm not saying you have to do it right now.
I hate government involvement in anything.
He told me
They don't belong.
He said, that's the first time anybody's ever said that to me, you know, that way. So, and I told him, well, if he comes or calls, I should tell him I have a check. I should tell him what I get to we start having some nice little weeks or something. Tell him to get on, because he has to get, Benjamin has to get permits through him. And so I'll tell him, hey, tell Benjamin that trailer's still there and the money's waiting. You want it now.
Well, especially if they recommended him.
Car payment, car insurance.
But I don't foresee
I
a problem.
I gotta straighten out my health insurance.
Well, yeah, see, he was a good friend. See, he was referee for a lot of football games. Him and Tuza. You know Tuza?
Yeah, you told me about him.
Oh, there was he died.
Big black.
But he was a good guy.
I think I'm more of a libertarian. Keeping the government out of stuff.
Yeah, but I
My
don't like
views
them.
are.
I don't like them either.
Why?
For one thing, they're very anti-police, they're very anti-military. They're very libertarians are for open borders.
Yeah. I just don't like government involved in everything.
Used to have
I'm making my own party.
a thing that you answer questions and it told you what place on the political spectrum
Where you
were.
fall.
I think I was a libertarian
Yeah.
at that time. I don't know that now. I think I'm a Luddite is what I am. Luddite hate technology.
There's a lot of things we have in common.
modernization.
There's a lot of things we have in common with libertarians, but there's a lot of things with them I'm not on board with.
Wasn't Rand Paul a libertarian?
Yeah, so is Ron Paul. But like I said, there's a lot of things I like about him, but then there's a lot of things I don't like about him.
Who was that other candidate that ran and you didn't hear much about him? For president? It was like
There's always a third party of the libertarian, but nobody talks about it.
They never say too much about
Because
it.
they know they don't have a chance from the
There's
beginning.
always the Green Party. And
Yeah, there's always, which they're a bunch of commies too, usually.
hey, isn't everybody?
Pretty much. In my book.
It's like, that's the
See
way
now-
it's going to be, so.
If it were up to me, I'd be like the 1950s having the McCarthy trials, because everybody's a commie.
You know, the only one that made sense the other day was that McCarthy that made a speech. He was the only one that I thought made any sense. Yeah. Well, he doesn't favor the impeachment. He thinks the president was wrong and the president encouraged this, but he doesn't think they should impeach him. He doesn't think that's the right way to go.
I don't see the point of impeaching him with 3 days out.
He's almost out.
So he can't run again.
That's what they care about.
political career. Yeah.
They know they couldn't beat him without cheating the
That's all
first
they
time.
want. That's all they want to do. And besides, you have to do something to show the world that you're not going to put up with people, you know, trying to overthrow the government.
Is there a deadline that they can't impeach him after he's out of
I
office?
don't know. I didn't know you could
See now,
impeach somebody.
we're getting into the discussion we had the other night. I think a government that rigs an election should be overthrown, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, but the government that rigged the election, if they did, isn't in power yet. They're not in power until Biden is inaugurated.
Yeah, well, they won the election. He's the president-elect. It's been certified.
But you still can't prove it. They haven't proved it. So
Because nobody was willing to look into it.
If you can't prove it, in other words, anybody.
Well, you tell me in
can say
Philadelphia now, It's a federal law that inspectors are allowed in. They wouldn't allow them in. They put paper in the windows. What are they trying to hide?
Something was going on.
No, what you said the other day about more people voted than was
In some places they
registered.
did.
It was in the paper. They had it in the paper the other day. How many
Not in Pennsylvania.
million Pennsylvania voters?
Well,
and how
I didn't
many-
say other states. I'm saying.
Well, then that's up to the other states.
But you tell me now, Philadelphia legally, federally, had to allow inspectors in. They wouldn't do that.
What's
And they
time?
put paper in the window so you couldn't see
Hey.
it. So my question is, what were they hiding in there that they didn't want anybody to see?
But why didn't they do something about it?
Well, he tried, but they wouldn't do nothing. Trump filed complaints and lawsuits and stuff, and they wouldn't even look into it.
Finished up.
This is the biggest sham in American history.
I don't think it's over.
Well, I think it is.
I think there's going to be things coming out.
People on the right are holding out these hopes, but it's over. Nothing's going to happen. Man. Hell, he's already picked out a place to live and got schools for Barron in Florida. It's done.
Did Melania file for divorce yet?
No.
That's supposed to be happening.
She's going to.
I've read a lot of places where there's nothing between them. They only were married because
Oh, who's
of
to
Barron.
say? Nobody
and he
knows.
doesn't really like Barron.
Yeah.
He refers to Barron as Melania's son, not his son. And I've read a lot
Everybody
of
said the same thing about Bill and Hillary after he with Monica said they get divorced, and that never happened. See, who knows?
Yeah, but there's reasons for that, too.
Well, politically, yeah, because she wanted to further her career as senator and president. Who knows? But
I think they sort of went their own ways and just kept it, you know.
Melania might like being married to a billionaire. Who knows?
Yeah, but isn't he a billionaire?
Oh yeah, they say he's worth like $6 billion.
I've read a lot of places where he isn't worth it. He owes it. And nobody will loan him money anymore.
Well, let's see what
Nobody
Celebrity
wants
Net Worth.
anybody to do it, so I don't know.
See what Celebrity Net Worth has to say about it.
He would have done himself a lot better if he would have just conceded at the beginning and not kept fighting back about it. He'd still have a chance to run again.
Now, Celebrity Net Worth has him listed at $2 billion. He's worth.
And I know somebody the other day said he's not even considered a billionaire because he doesn't really have.
I don't know.
Well, they don't. Whoever it was, I don't even remember.
Well, they're not going to say anything about. I mean, they've been lying about him for 4 years. Why would they start telling the truth now? Goddamn Nazi freaking propaganda media.
I told your dad this summer I saw, I had a DVD and it was about news and different things, and they had this big political rally and they had all these people cheering and this and that, and the head of the guy, you know, driving around, they were all cheering and you know, and you're looking at it, you're thinking, oh, it's a Trump rally. It was Adolf Hitler.
Wow.
It looked just like a Trump rally. Exactly like a Trump. The people cheering and everything.
Well, I'd much rather be at a Trump rally than Antifa. At least we didn't burn down America. Goddamn bastards. They should have shot every one of them. Now I'm getting riled up. I hate Antifa. I hate Black Lives Matter because they're nothing but communists too. They even said, that they're socialists.
They're terrorists.
They're all
You know, I don't oppose equality. They could be, but I don't. How can they put one life and say it's more valuable than any other? Black lives matter. If I said white lives matter, that'd be racist. So how can you promote one race over any other? They're full of shit, is what they are. Goddamn communists.
I think some of the stuff that they're fighting for that happened is wrong. I mean, you think about some of those situations.
Like I said, I don't care.
Common sense. I agree with you. You don't put your knee on somebody's neck and kill them.
Right.
Just because they're black.
Right.
I mean, couldn't they have cuffed him or whatever if he was doing something
That whole
wrong?
situation. That whole situation
All
was.
that stuff, and that just aggravates people.
That whole situation was shady too, especially when the cop and George Floyd worked together at a bar. Security.
Well, I don't know what
Yeah.
happened in this and that. But there again, my thing is, any time that happens with the police, it should go to trial. Nobody has the right to say it was justified, this and that. You make it, you have a trial, and you have a jury, and you present evidence like you do in any other trial. And if the guy that died, if he was in the wrong and he did something, then bring it out. But don't just cover it up because it was a cop and say, well, the cop was
Right.
justified. That only makes problems.
But there's just many instances where the cop was in the right, like Ferguson, Missouri, when what was the big black kid? All the forensics showed the cop was telling the truth, that he reached for the gun.
Well, that's what it should
Yeah.
do, but it should
Then
come
you're
out in trial.
justified. Yeah.
You should have a trial and have
And
evidence.
furthermore,
shown.
they had him on camera that he robbed the store. He took the clerk and choked him and picked
well,
him
then
up.
have the evidence shown in a trial. But don't just
Yeah,
have
they
a
did.
herd of cops
But he was
come out
found.
and
The cop
say,
was let off of that one, and they still riot.
But was it a real was it a trial, or was it just
No, he was-
somebody said that, well, we're just not going to bring charges against him because it was justified? You shouldn't. That should be. That only causes problems.
Yep.
If the guy was justified, then there's no
What
reason
caused
not to.
problems? What caused problems in Ferguson, Missouri, was Obama got the federal government involved in it when it should have just been a state issue. First of all, the county there did their autopsy, and then the state did an autopsy, and Obama said, no, we're going to do a federal autopsy. And then that's when all the riots and when the federal government got involved.
Made it worse.
Yeah.
Usually the government makes things worse when they get involved.
Yeah.
I've noticed that.
Well, you know what Reagan said? Was it the 7 or 8 the scariest words in the English language? Hi, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. That's what Reagan said.
That's what they told the Indians. Look what happened.
He said that was the scariest words in the English language.
Trust us.
Yeah,
That's the
the
way.
scariest words in the English language. Hi, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Yeah.
That was a Ronald Reagan quote.
Yeah, I know. That's one of my favorites. And I wasn't a Reagan fan either. I figured this. He made his living all that time pretending to be somebody he wasn't, reading words that other people wrote for him and making people believe it. And
So what
somehow
president
I
do you
never
like?
trusted that.
You haven't liked any president,
I
have you?
haven't. I can't think of one that I liked. No.
You didn't like Eisenhower? Because that's his favorite.
Oh, I'm too young to even remember Eisenhower. I remember Kennedy.
Well, I like president. I mean, now, a Democrat president, I like Harry Truman.
Yeah, I like Harry Truman. The buck stops here.
See, I wasn't alive, but I still like Harry Truman.
Yeah.
He was a Democrat.
See, that's
The
another
Democrats
thing.
then aren't like the Democrats
That's
today.
another thing I don't like about Trump. Trump doesn't take responsibility for anything. Nothing is ever his fault. Harry Truman said the buck stops here. He had a sign on his desk. He was ultimately responsible. Even if he didn't make the decision or do any of these things, he was at the head of the thing, and it was his responsibility, whether or not.
And Harry Truman had the guts to nuke some bastards.
But Trump, it's not my fault. I didn't do that, and he just won't take responsibility. I don't like that. He's a president and he's responsible. Whether he actually did this act or if somebody below him did or whatever, at least he admitted it. And
See, now my 2 favorite presidents are Trump and Reagan. Harry Truman's probably third
Trump
on my
isn't
side.
even near the list. I can't think of anybody I really like. Clinton wasn't bad. Clinton balanced the budget, so I give him credit for that. And that didn't last very long.
They all contribute to the national debt. It goes up under every single president. So.
Oh, and it's really going up now because now they're going to do another couple $1 trillion with this next stimulus package.
And then when he does the $15, the economy's going to collapse. They're going to have to do even more.
Well, I was telling somebody before, they were talking on the radio about if the minimum wage goes up to $15 an hour, that means like all your McDonald's workers and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
They said you go in to buy a Big Mac, it's going to be $15 for a Big Mac then.
Everything.
Because they're going to make it up.
And the thing is, not only is stuff going to cost more, employment's going to skyrocket because companies aren't going to absorb the losses. They're going to cut hours, they're going to cut jobs.
Or they're going to ship companies out of the country
Yeah, so
again.
unemployment's going to skyrocket, the cost of living is going to skyrocket.
But that's what they want.
That's what I say, that could throw us into a Great Depression again. Well, sad times are in store for America, but
Oh well.
they say if they say they legitimately beat Trump, then fine, let them get what they voted for.
That's right. That's the way to feel. You voted for him, you got it.
Because it's going to be a colossal failure when they do that. And they put it in with a stimulus, so all the people are going to want it because people they don't see anything else but $1,400.
Blinded by that in the beginning.
Yeah, they don't see anything but the $1,400 they're getting, so they can put anything they want in there, and people aren't going to care other than the money they're getting. they're basically buying people off and putting bullshit in it that's going to kill the country. Well, I'll tell you what, $1,400 isn't worth what we're going to do to this country with that. You're going to be paying a lot more for stuff than
Over 4
$1,400.
years, that ain't gonna cover it.
The people are basically stupid and they can't see too far in front of them. And they just see that check coming and that's what they want.
He likes Dwight Eisenhower because Dwight Eisenhower put the whole interstate system in the U.S.
Oh, okay. That's well, you have to have a reason. That's good. That's good.
You know where he got that idea?
Not only that.
You know where he got the idea?
Oh, yeah, when he was over in
Yeah,
Germany
Hitler.
or something.
Hitler made interstates over there to get military equipment to Germany faster. And when he was over there, Eisenhower as a general, he saw these interstate systems and he wanted to implement it in the U.S. And that's how we got like the interstates and everything.
He passed it. He got it passed. It was a struggle, but he got it passed. But now you got 81 of them go all the way across to California, and then they got a one route on the bottom now, I understand, coming all the way from the bottom across the United States.
Yeah.
And to Georgia. And hey, you know, and then there's a lot of them going this way. 75, 95. You know.
As evil as Hitler was, I guess he did accomplish some good things in Germany before he went off the deep end. I mean, stuff like that. He did have.
He was always off the deep end.
Well, yeah, I guess. Which is weird because, like, when he was young, he was like an artist and he was like a roommate with a Jew. I don't understand how he went.
I don't know. I heard a lot of things that he actually was a Jew himself.
Well, he wasn't German. He was
Somebody in
Austrian.
his family was
Yeah.
Jew or something. There was always
He wasn't
a lot
even
of-
from like German descent. He was Austrian. Yeah.
Basically the same.
Yeah, same, but still.
But he, you know, Eisenhower, he just thinks he was in charge of all the liberation over there, including Russia. He had the final say on Berlin, but you know, but then Russia turned against him.
Was Eisenhower? Was he a two-term president or one? Eisenhower.
Two-term, I think.
I don't know.
Let me see. Eisenhower presidential years.
I was
Okay,
I was
Google.
young then. I don't remember. stuff.
Eisenhower presidential years. See what it says. Yeah, 2 years from 53 to 61.
Until January 20th, 1961.
Yeah, so he was a two-term.
So with that minimum wage, I'm hoping that it's a gradual.
No, it's just gonna right away. 15.
I don't know. I haven't heard.
The stimulus package says federal minimum wage $15. It's not a
I was
gradual.
hoping that it would go like, you know, $2 here, then another $2 and over the 4 years.
No, I think it's going to be one.
That's going to be
a mess.
That's going to be a
Because like I
nightmare.
said, the companies know what they're.
Companies aren't in the business to lose money. They're not going to absorb it. They'll either pass on the cost, cut jobs, cut hours, or all three.
All three.
Yeah, all three.
I've worked for
And ship,
businesses
like he said, ship jobs
and
overseas.
ship out what they can.
See, because like Trump or not, you got to admit, a lot of things are starting to come back and build here under him.
Look, I voted for Trump. I didn't like the man, but I liked Biden even less.
Before COVID, the American economy was booming better than it ever has. Maybe I mean, like black unemployment, Hispanic unemployment, they were their best in the history of the country. But then COVID hit, and as much as they want to blame Trump, I don't think you can really. I mean, there's nothing.
What I think Trump should have been was honest and said, yeah, this is coming,
But it
this is
would've-
a problem, and you know we have to prepare for it and this and that, instead of pretending and saying, well, it's nothing and don't worry about it, and it's
The thing is, like,
it's a hoax.
the
and
thing
all
is,
that.
like, it decimated these countries all over the world. Some of them even had very
Ready to
liberal
go.
leaders.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
You're not going to stay for cake?
No, that's all right. That's all right.
He doesn't like wood icing
I
anyway.
can't eat that. But thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
They had a gift for you. I don't know. Janessa had a gift for you. Did you get it?
Yeah, it's in the room now. Do you want to get it?
You can open it later. You don't have to open it now.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for the meatballs and everything. That was
Do you
good.
want to take some with you? Some meatballs?
There.
We're gonna put it in the
Container over there. Over there.
No, they're over there now.
No, right there, sitting on the counter.
This?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is dirty though, it looks.
No, it ain't.
Unless it was just water.
There's a smaller one out.
I just rinsed it out.
One that big.
I gotta carry it stuff out.
Well, I think if you do us a favor and die,
He's stupid enough to do that, isn't he? President to be. He'd be stupid enough to raise it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, give him a pack of buns.
Yeah, where are they at?
Right there.
We bought too many buns because you can have a whole pack of those.
Here, carry those, Vanessa.
Because I bought 3 dozen and my sister bought 2 dozen. We didn't know each other got them. So. I don't even use buns. I just like the meatball without any bread, but that's how I eat it. But.
Alright, thank you.
Yeah. Laura liked the meatball, so she
Yeah,
likes them.
they'll probably have them.
Oh, wait. Yeah, your steakhouse, you might as well do that too.
Alright, see you later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, we'll have to get together and watch that Western movie. That Western movie.
That sounds good.
Yeah, sounds like a good one.
Thank you guys for dinner. That was good.
Yes.
Yeah. See you later.
See you later.
Where did she go?
It's only 7 o'clock. You already have your shower today.
Yep.
Guess what, guys? Lights out for me.
Laura, did you have your shower today? Alright, so I just got to get one in a little bit here. So just have the whipped icing or the...
I think so.
What's the whip? See, I can't handle that real sweet icing. That's what Mike likes. He won't eat whip, but I can. That's real sweet icing makes me sick. Enough to make me sick.
Who is this?
Ah.
You hurt yourself.
Yeah. This is mine.
I have 2. One's empty.
Well, he's sitting back there while he gets.
Move this stuff over there. How about moving your phone and glasses?
Here, this was Ashley's.
Let's get this out of here.
I can hold it.
Oh, okay.
There's your glasses. Why don't you put them on?
Yeah. What?
I'm sorry, I can't see.
Laura,
What?
should we sing happy birthday?
You don't have to.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bardell. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Here we go.
When's your birthday?
Huh?
When's?
My birthday is January 29th.
Oh.
So you'll be 50 on the 29th.
Yeah. Because I'm going backwards.
Best way to go.
Thank you.
Should we, you want to go up?
I don't know if I'd want to. Maybe I would.
Go back 20?
I'd have to go back 22 years.
There.
I'll go back 20.
Thank you.
No.
Are these supposed to be mine? Okay, thank you.
You don't want them in there, though.
Oh, they're too warm. Yeah.
Here, I'll get you another bag.
Wet.
That's it. I'll forget it later. Okay.
You don't use that stuff in the kitchen.
Are you familiar with Rubbermaid sheds? You ever work on one or put them together? Rubbermaid?
No, they look nice.
because Kevin has one, I think it's 8x10 or something, and he's looking to get another shed. And if he decides to do it, I could buy this Rubbermaid shed off him for $400. But he only lives over here on Lincoln off of Broad Street. And I'm not sure how to get from there to here, though. I don't know if we could do it in a couple of pieces. Or, I hope we don't have to take the whole thing apart. But.
I don't know, I'll have to take a look at it.
Yeah, I'm not, we gotta wait. If they do this other stimulus like they're talking, he might get a shed. So I'd like to put it out here and then take the stuff out of this shed and fix the roof and then build that bar in there like I wanted to do.
Oh, I got some of those smoothie drinks. I didn't try one yet. That we got the first time there in my. They're in my fridge.
Still, if you don't want to order it. Oh, they're good. He does too.
He does too?
Yes.
Yeah, I got some up there.
No, it's gonna slide off.
Yeah, we'll just have to, here, what, move your hands. We're just gonna take it off there completely.
Okay.
It's too slippery.
Yeah. This will be on the floor. And it'll all be chippers.
Look at me.
I feel like I'm on the floor.
Raise your head up a little bit. You're looking down like. Straighten your head up. There you go. That's better. All right. Here we go again. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dad. Happy birthday to you. Here we go.
Very nice.
You gonna have cake, Laura, or not?
Real little piece. Then I soon gotta go to bed.
I said you're gonna go to bed.
Yep.
You having cake, Mardell?
Yeah, I'll have a piece.
Now it's on this side.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's it. I got yours. He's all the way up on my bed. I know.
See, I'm gonna see the cat. Tyler want cake or not?
Tyler, you want cake?
Yeah, I'll go to the cat quick.
That's like a salad fork, I mean.
Gary, you want cake?
Yeah.
Is it all chocolate?
I think the other side might be. I don't know. What does it say on the...
I don't know. I'll just...
Yeah, it's all chocolate.
So what? Tyler, did you get yours?
Anybody
He's upstairs. Yeah, is there another plate? Because we got to get Tyler one.
Okay.
Grab
Let
him.
me get a fork.
This is good.
Oh, you mixed the fork here.
You can't have much of this one.
Oh, good.
The chocolate. Is it good, Laura? There's your piece.
No.
That's good. Very good.
There
We got to get a picture just of the cake, but oh well. We got a picture of you in the cake.
What?
It wasn't like it was a photo cake or anything.
Yeah, because I went up with a bag.
We didn't do the
Shaking
photo
it.
this time. Kind of
You know
a
how he is with
hurried
bags.
affair.
Because I had to put all the yogurt drinks.
But I think.
Yes, because he doesn't like bags.
I know.
And I was shaking the bag when I went up.
You think Ashley will have the baby before the 21st, Laura?
I think. I thought it was going to be tonight. Very uncomfortable.
That would have been a good video if she would have had it right here.
Is this your group there, Laura?
Yeah, I need to finish it. That would have been a definite YouTube moment. Nothing brings a family closer together than a birth.
I get it. For sure.
I can't get over how tall Layla's getting. Hello? They're eating birthday cake. What are you doing? Well, Ashley was here, but she was having some problems, so they headed for Danville. And Carrie and Tyler and Mike and Bar and Jacob and Janessa and Mardell. Yeah, I wish you could have too. Just about.
Tell her how tall Layla's getting.
You wouldn't believe how tall Layla is getting.
She's taller than me.
She's tall. Layla, she's taller than Ashley.
Taller than Laura. Laura, you mean?
Laura.
Yep. She's tall.
I guess. Here. Laura. She wants to ask you about Ashley.
Yes. Yes. She was really uncomfortable. That's what I think. I No. I thought she was gonna have it here tonight.
How many meatballs is left?
There's some in there. I might have a few tomorrow, but Mardell can take some if she wants to.
I got.
I'll take some if you have enough. But don't.
Oh, there's still quite a few in
Yeah,
there.
Cody's gonna be there.
I think there's probably a dozen in
I'll
them.
take a couple.
Because I made them, there was like 52 or 53 of them.
Yeah, she couldn't even straighten up for a few minutes. That's what I said.
Instead of cutting this up, I would just put it in the fridge like this.
Yeah.
Today is the 16th.
Right. It's not
No.
not in the right spot. Must be the other. Oh, it goes this way.
Either can I.
Maybe it was.
She has a full head of hair.
There's towels.
Yeah.
Yep, this one has a lot of hair, they said.
Yep. That's how it is.
See, Layla didn't. Yep. Alright, I'm gonna give you back to Dad, because I gotta get to bed here soon. No, I gotta get up for work. There's not much I can do, Mom. I can't be directly with her. I mean, Jen gave me a light schedule this week, just in case. Like I have, you know, not too many hours. Because we don't know If she does not have it
But
by
that's
the
mostly
21st,
icing, so I think you
we'll
can have that.
it on the 21st. They're going to induce on the 21st. Well, that was the original plan, was the 20th. But then another doctor got back to her and said that they already had an induction on the 20th, so they could not do her too. But that doesn't mean she can't go and have her, you know? Love you too. You want me to give you back to Dad? Alright, Dad.
Alright, hold on 1 second.
Alright.
Put it on the floor.
Using the bathroom and I'm going to bed.
Where's the phone?
On the cake.
Oh. Yeah?
I have no idea where he even got that.
Yeah, Mike and Laura had to leave because she had business over there tonight. Somebody was coming and Carrie and Tyler went. Mardell's still here and Laura is getting ready to go to bed. We're cleaning up a little bit here now. So, yeah. He's got to get a shower though. He's got to get up in the morning. So, hey, I'll call you back in a little bit. Yeah, okay? It's early, so I'll call you back. All right, bye.
You get all of them out of here?
Just about. You ought to take it out and dump it in the garbage out there. Unless you want to put some in that container.
Just in the garbage on the patio?
Yeah, just dump it in.
Oh, is the light on out here?
It was.
You didn't have to give me all the meatballs. Well, thanks for everything. Everything was very good. Thanks for the cake. You don't have to do that, you know. You don't have to do that.
What?
You don't have to get me a cake.
Why?
Because you
It's your
don't.
birthday.
Well,
You gotta have a cake.
thanks for everything. That's the final one. Thanks for everything.
You're welcome.
And we'll see you. Happy birthday
Thank you.
in the coming days. Thanks for the intense political discussion.
Yeah. See, you don't call that heated.
Oh, I've had worse. See, I was brought up that
So
way.
your dad got riled up more.
I was brought up that way to discuss stuff like that.
Your dad got riled about it, huh?
He used to get a little, he got intense about it. That's part of the fun.
What about your husband? He wasn't too political?
He didn't care he didn't really care too much. He was a Republican. He liked Nixon. See, he thought Nixon was terrific and I thought Nixon was a crook. You know, stuff like that. But we never really argued about it.
I don't know too much about Nixon other than the Watergate thing, but I've always heard he was a pretty good president up until that point. But.
We see, I have other ways of looking at things. What I disliked about Nixon was one time he was somewhere and his wife came up to him to greet him and he totally ignored her and went and shook hands with the guy that was next to her or something. And I didn't like that. I thought that was very rude.
My extent of Nixon mostly is watching Archie and Meathead argue about him. I know all in the family.
Yeah. But,
Okay, where's your...
And Meathead, he's like Meathead in real life. His character's
yeah,
just like...
he's the same, yeah.
He might be even more radical in real life.
Well, Well, I think most of those people are, but there are some. You don't hear too much about the people that are conservative. There are some conservatives.
Clint Eastwood.
But you do, yeah, but you don't hear a lot about them. They don't make a lot of publicity like the radical left does. So, well, I'll be on my way. See you guys.
And I think a lot of them that speak out might not even be as liberal as they come across. They just do it to further their career because it's,
because they think
it's the end thing.
It's good for their career. Yeah, you're right. They'll get publicity and people will like them. And
in Hollywood, if you speak out for the left, then you know that you get bonus points.
Yeah. So, you be a good boy, Chipper. I'll see you again too someday.
Well, that concludes his birthday. 82 years old. Here it is, January 16th, 2021. Happy birthday.
Where can we set this up?
Is there a place over here we can set the pizza or something?
Not really over here.
I don't understand that. You?
Let me get up and move out of the way.
Yeah.
I am what?
I see. There we go. I mean, it all depends on yeah. What are you trying to do? Yeah, I see a female and
I don't.
I think that's what it is. What's this pasta thing about? Female food, right? Yes. Sure. Right there's her head. Right there's
That's really on the side.
That's why I just wrote that. Put that up.
I know.
Layla, you're hungry, dude.
You said you're hungry. Go eat.
You like our mac and cheese?
It's over.
It's really good with the relish.
Get a fork? Yep, I got a fork.
Okay.
No.
No, we're good. I got a seat over here.
I gotta get up.
Yeah, me too.
Do you need a hand?
As we get done eating, don't start cleaning up right like it's like coming.
Hey, we will be 84 weeks pregnant.
Yes, I am.
Anybody else get
You're on me, asshole. Hey, you have your food.
Here, help go.
Kill you. Come back. God damn it. We're gonna attack you.
You have pizza or macaroni?
Please.
Pizza and macaroni? Go for get your pizza.
Here, check. Tip.
Child, go eat.
Open your mouth.
How's the meatball?
Before you talk, before you wear your food.
He didn't make sausage because he thought that'd be too much food.
Good job.
closer. There you go. No thanks for trying to quit.
You gotta save a couple slices of pizza for dinner.